Hello and welcome to Straight Talk. I'm Ayşe Süberker. For most of the year, Turkey has been raising concerns about Greece's militarization of islands in the eastern Aegean Sea. Now, new pictures reportedly show dozens of U.S. armored vehicles being deployed on the islands of Lesvos and Samos near Turkey's western coast. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan slammed the move, saying Turkey will utilize all means to protect its interests. Transport of the military vehicles, which were donated by the U.S. to Greece, were reportedly captured by Turkish military UAVs on a surveillance mission, according to security sources. Ankara says the militarization of eastern Aegean islands is against international law and numerous treaties. The latest incident comes just weeks after Greece targeted Turkish F-16s and opened fire on a cargo ship in the Aegean. The two NATO allies also have ongoing disputes in the energy-rich waters of the eastern Mediterranean and over Greece's pushback of migrants. So how will this latest incident unfold, and is the movement of American equipment to islands near Turkey's coast raising the stakes? And to discuss the militarization of the islands of Lesvos and Samos by Greece and the fallout it could bring, joining me now from Lefkoşa is Emete Gozuguzelli. She is an associate professor at Ankara Social Sciences University, and Yucel Acer is a professor of international law at Yıldırım Beyazıt University and a researcher at the SETA Foundation, a policy think tank based in Ankara. A warm welcome to you both, and thanks for joining me on Straight Talk. So, Emete, the Turkish security forces have released pictures showing the deployment of dozens of U.S. armored vehicles to two Greek islands, which are supposed to remain demilitarized under the international law and various treaties. So what's your take on this latest development, and where is this headed?
Yes, this is a very actually important topic, at least for the Turkish national security, because in accordance to the Lausanne Treaty and the Paris Treaty, everything is clear. Actually, the violation of those treaties is created by the Greece since the 1960s, and step by step, Greece side increase its militarization in the region, and we have seen many developments, of course, as you know, that the latest developments in the island of the Lesbos and the Samos. It is very provocation. So that's why Turkey, of course, attest to the all parties, because United States actually supported the Greece always in the region. By the way, you know that they do a violation of the international law.
So, Yucel, why is Greece continuing to provoke Turkey, as Emete put it, and challenge international agreements it had agreed to?
As Emete underlined, there are clear international regulations that brings responsibility on Greece not to militarize these islands. That's quite clear. Despite this clear international regulations which are still in force, it's a very significant question why Greece is using such a flagrant violation as a means of provocation. I think we have to remember 2 points. The first one is that Greece is not really negotiating any dispute in the Aegean Sea with Turkey. According to Greece's perception, there are no such disputes. Just Greece carries on whatever they want to do in the Aegean Sea. That's the first point we should underline. The second point is that it is actually Greece which is blocking to taking these cases to international court. In 2015, Greece made a declaration to accept the compulsory jurisdiction of International Court of Justice, but excluded all the disputes, including the militarizing these islands, from the jurisdiction of the court. Since Greece blocks 2 ways of settlement, like negotiations and adjudication, there is one means left for Greece. It is using the big powers like the European Union and United States of America to pressure on Turkey to get Turkey accept these demands or policies.
So let's take a look at Turkish perspective. Emete, what could Turkey do about it on the international arena? I mean, for example, is lodging complaints to the UN and NATO enough?
Actually, Turkey is doing this since the 1960s, and Turkey always tried to respect actually the international law. When the main policy of the Turkey, peace in home and peace in the world. So since the establishment of the Turkish Republic, we have seen this policy, and Turkey tries to make a good neighborhood relations with the Greece. And in every conflict, Turkey called the Greece partners to sit together and discuss it. As you know, that until now, we have seen many negotiation process with Greece on and off. And most of the time, the Greece always give up the negotiations, and then they increase the provocations. As you know, that in March, President Erdogan invited the Mitsotakis, and they met together, and Mr. Erdogan speak with Mitsotakis and called that the dialogue is very important between us, especially after the Ukrainian crisis. So after that process, we have seen that Greece tries to increase its provocations over the armament program. So, until now, Turkey started to warn the Greece side and all the related parties, they should respect those international treaties, because the Lausanne Treaty is not an treaty. It creates a border, and it creates a peace, and it creates a security for the region and also for the Turkey. So everyone should obey it, because the erga omnes, it includes the erga omnes, because this is the main principles of the international law. So everyone should obey it, because Greece always tries to ignore the related provisions, and everything is clear in Lausanne Treaty in Article 13.
Okay, so you're talking about lack of diplomacy between the two countries. Yucel, you mentioned that, but Greek Prime Minister Mitsotakis, during his speech at the United Nations General Assembly, also denounced Turkey's unilateral decision to suspend contacts at the highest level. Would you agree with that? Because the President Erdogan claims the otherwise and says they have agreed not to include third parties. So that begs the question, is Turkey likely to revise its Aegean policies? I mean, should we expect a new approach from Ankara towards these militarized islands?
In fact, Turkey has put forward a very realistic policy in terms of settling the Aegean disputes, including these militarizing islands. When President Erdogan refused to negotiate with Greece over these disputes, we have to remember that the president said that as far as Greece do not negotiate these disputes seriously, then there would be no further negotiations. So this seriously is a very significant concept as far as Greece is concerned. Greece comes and meets Turkey from time to time, but there has been no serious negotiations on behalf of Greece.
Yes.
Greece was just doing these meetings just to show to international community that as if it's negotiating, but it's not negotiating, because Greece does not accept the existence of these disputes.
Yes.
That's why President had to say that whenever you would like to come to negotiate seriously, then we would be ready to meet. So that's why this point that was put forward by President Erdogan is very significant.
So, Emete, Greece seems to be pinning much of its defense strategy on deep military cooperation with France and the United States, to which it has extended greater access to its military bases on its soil. So how do you think this is received by the Greeks, and how is the public reacting to the foreign military buildup on their soil as the country is headed for elections soon?
Actually, Greece is acting like a proxy state, and I don't think so. All the public opinion supporting this strategy, because we have seen that Greece is only became an independence after the 18th century, as you know, that it declared itself as an independent state. But today we haven't talked any information security and all its other related strategies combined with the USA. So we have seen the USA main strategic policies in the region with Greece.
Yes.
So this is very important situation because the mutual relations, the respect to the international law.
Okay. So I'm sorry to interrupt here, but I'm running out of time. So Yucel, as the last question, as the U.S. seems to be taking Greece's side in its quarrel with Turkey, and Ankara's concerns are not being listened to by the international organizations, which other NATO members could mediate between the two countries, and why do you think no one is stepping in?
Unfortunately, Greece has created a perception that in such a situation there is a war between Ukraine and Russia, and Ukraine was helped by other Western countries, and Turkey was presented as like not helping Ukraine enough, so not standing against Russia properly. In such a circumstances, which was like a created perception against Turkey, it seems that no other NATO member could feel itself in a position to, mediate between Greece and Turkey at the moment. It's almost left to some major powers, especially European Union as a whole and the United States of America, to understand that it's no useful, it's no useful to get these two countries against each other. In the recent statement by the United States of America, two NATO members should not be, struggling against each other.
Yes.
Especially the United States should stop this. So that's why we have to settle, first of all, this perception completely. Then afterwards, I think all other major NATO countries, including Germany, France, and United States of America, should help these two countries, especially to persuade Greece to negotiate with Turkey seriously to settle these long-standing disputes.
All right, Emete and Yucel, unfortunately, we'll have to leave it here. Thank you very much for joining me on Straight Talk.